Andrew Gooley, the managing editor of the Strand magazine. Normally, we'd be in New York City having this event, but this year, I can have the opportunity of having people who would normally have to travel to New York or who would just be unable to travel. And the added bonus is I don't have to make sure that the appetizers are hot, that the room is cool, and that everybody's getting enough wine, or in my case, enough brassica green tea. And I want to thank everybody for coming in this extraordinary year. We were thinking whether we should hold the awards or not, but COVID wasn't going to stop us. And for the second year in a row, we have Hank Philippi Ryan, who's our MC. She needs no introductions. If you look in the background, you'll see that her books are getting edged away by all the awards she's won. Hank has won, let me see, I need to read this because I can't remember this. 5 Agathas, 3 Anthonys, the Daphnes, 2 Maccabees, and the Mary Higgins Clark Award. In addition to being a best-selling author, she's one of the most generous authors that I know, and even the harshest critics are very, very kind to her because her works are fantastic. And your latest one, The First to Lie, was my favorite. In addition to all of that, you're an award-winning investigative reporter. So the only thing is you need to give me the secret to your success. Hank, take it from here.
Thank you, Andrew. You have all the secrets already. It is so great to see all of you here tonight. I'm taking pictures like crazy to at least get a little history for tonight of something that we hope will never be like this again. But far from that, the champagne and wine, and far from the sumptuous elegance of those usual Strand events, we are alive and persevering, and never let it be said that insanity and terror and chaos and craziness ever kept any of us from doing what we love, being with our friends and celebrating the best in the business. So thank you all for being here tonight. So welcome. I'm here in my study in Boston where I write every day. Yes, every day. Lisa Gallagher, my agent, who I know is out there somewhere certainly every day. But first, hooray for Andrew Gooley and the Strand magazine. Andrew knows that I think of him as the Indiana Jones of the magazine world. His life is an absolute treasure hunt for the lost and gorgeous gems that are still buried in attics and universities and libraries around the world. A little bit about the magazine and a little bit about Andrew. In the past 22 years as managing editor of the Strand magazine, he's taken the publication's already glowing history to a new level, with every issue providing wonderful articles and interviews and short stories, and also unveiling those treasures that he has unearthed, including short stories often never before published by Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald and H.G. Wells and Tennessee Williams, and recently a first ever in English version of a John Steinbeck story that had previously been published in French. So that's quite an adventure, and you should ask Andrew about that. And he has just published an amazing early novella from Louisa May Alcott called Nellie's Diary. So that is quite a feather in his cap, which had never been published before. So as we talked earlier today, he and I talked earlier today, and he promises there are more wonderful things in the work. So we congratulate you on and another year of this stalwart magazine, a survivor in these uncertain times. And Andrew has also been so generous in making sure that authors and publishers also get their chance in the spotlight, and that's why we are here tonight as well. We'll give some coveted awards and applaud some amazing people and remind ourselves that we can power through even these crazy times with talent and literature and terrific writing and a real sense of community. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Get your wine or whatever you have and toast to the written word. And let me tell you about the Strand Critics Awards very quickly. For the last 12 years, the Strand Critics Awards has been recognizing excellence in the field of mystery fiction. Past winners have included Laura Lippman, Elmore Leonard, Michael Connolly, Richard Price, Faye Pellerman, George Pelecanos, Joseph Finder, who's here tonight, Megan Abbott, and Jeffrey Deaver among the Strand Critics Award winners. They're the only awards judged by critics from major national newspapers. This year's judges included critics from NPR, the Associated Press, Washington Post, CNN, and the LA Times. So now let us give our first award for the night. Here are the nominees for Best Debut Novel. And congratulations to all of you. This is something that will never happen again, having your debut novel and having it nominated for a Strand Award is hitting it out of the ballpark. So no matter what happens, congratulations. The Best Debut Novel nominees are Scrublands by Chris Hammer from Atria Books. In this searing, indisputable page-turner, so says Associated Press, a town's dark secrets come to light in the aftermath of a young priest's unthinkable last act, in the vein of The Dry and Where the Crawdads Sing. Nice neighborhood. The next nominee is Miracle Creek by Angie Kim from Sarah Crichton Books. In a small town in Virginia, a group of people know each other because they're part of a special treatment center, a hyperbaric chamber that may cure a range of conditions from infertility to autism. But then the chamber explodes, 2 people die, and it's clear the explosion was not an accident. 3/5 by John Bircher from Agora Books. 3/5 is about a biracial Black man passing for white who is forced to confront the lies of his past while facing the truth of his present when his best friend, just released from prison, involves him in a hate crime. One Night Gone by Tara Laskowski from Graydon House. And she's waving, I know, Art is pointing, Dash is pointing, hi Tara. One sultry summer, Maureen Hadaway arrives in the wealthy town of Opal Beach to start her life anew, to achieve her destiny. There she finds herself lured by the promise of friendship, love, starry skies, and wild parties. But Maureen's new life might just be too good to be true. And before the summer is up, she vanishes. And the last nominee is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides from Celadon Books. A famous painter married to an in-demand fashion photographer lives in a grand house with big windows overlooking a park in one of London's most desirable areas. One evening, her husband Gabriel returns home late from a fashion shoot, and Alicia shoots him 5 times in the face and then never speaks another word. And those are the nominees for Best Debut Novel. And the Strand Critics Award for Best Debut Novel goes to Angie Kim for Miracle Creek from Sarah Crichton Books. And I see everybody applauding. That is wonderful. Can we unmute Angie's mic? She's in the back seat of a car. This is a very high degree of difficulty, Angie.
We actually lost Angie.
We lost Angie.
She left, yes.
Angie is the most talented, the most brilliant, the most loving, the most hilarious, the most genuine article of an author who you could ever meet. She is constantly at book clubs, constantly on the road, constantly working hard, and a glorious and generous friend. I know she worked so hard on this book and will be thrilled when she arrives at her destination and will be delighted to hear that she has won this stellar award. So we'll go on to the Lifetime Achievement Awards. Now, my husband is a criminal defense attorney, and he won a Lifetime Achievement Award when he was about 55. And he admitted to me that he was a little bit upset about that. He's like, does this mean that's all there is? This is as good as it's going to get? But we do not want tonight's award winners to feel that way. The Strand's Lifetime Achievement Awards are given to those who have spent their writing life achieving great things and who have shown that they will continue to do so. Tonight, two honorees, Tess Gerritsen and Walter Mosley. Amazing choices. So Tess Gerritsen first. Let me just tell you about Tess Gerritsen. It makes me smile even to think about her. She was one of my first pals in writing world. She's generous and brilliant and nimble, always ready to try something new and challenge herself and push the limits, which seem to be limitless. She's now an internationally best-selling author. She went to medical school at the University of California in San Francisco, where she was awarded her MD. But while on maternity leave from her work as a physician, she began to write fiction. In 1987, I'll let you do the math, her first novel was published, Call After Midnight, a romantic thriller, and was followed by 8 more romantic suspense novels. She also wrote a screenplay, Adrift, which starred as a 1993 CBS Movie of the Week starring Kate Jackson. That will tell us all, if we recognize Kate Jackson, where we are in this world. Tess's first medical thriller, Harvest, was released in hardcover in 1996, and it marked her debut on the New York Times bestseller list. She's written a best-selling book every year since then, including Gravity, The Surgeon, Playing with Fire, I Know a Secret, and The Shape of Night. Her books have been published in 40 countries, and more than 30 million copies have been sold around the world. Critics around the world have praised her novels as pulse-pounding fun, scary and brilliant, and polished and riveting. And Publishers Weekly dubbed her the medical suspense queen. Her series of novels featuring Jane Rizzoli and Maura Isles inspired the TNT television series Rizzoli and Isles, starring Angie Harmon and Sasha Alexander. Finally, she is also a filmmaker. She and her son Josh have just completed production of a feature-length documentary, Magnificent Beast, about the ancient origins of the pig taboo. So she is now retired from medicine, and she writes full-time, and she lives in Maine. And let's unmute the wonderful Tess Gerritsen.
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, all right. You know, there are advantages to being an old lady, which is what I feel like now. But, you know, Hank, thank you so much for that fantastic introduction, and thank you, Andrew. We've been pals for a long time. This is the great part of being in this industry, is you get to meet so many people over the course of your career. You get to know them, you get to know their quirks, you get to love them for their quirks. And Andrew, I know some of your quirks, so I know about the wine issue. But yeah, thank you so much. I think the only thing I would say about why I'm here tonight is that I lived long enough. There's something about just hanging in there and doing something every day that you love and never giving up. So persistence is a big part. But I also have to give a really, I have to credit luck, because a lot of the reasons that I'm being here I've just been lucky. I wrote the right book at the right time. I found the right agent. And I see Meg Ruley is there tonight. So thank you. Hi, Meg. You were like a large part of my good luck. And I know there are so many fantastic writers who are just starting off and maybe feel a little bit discouraged. And it isn't always about talent. It isn't always about how good a writer you are. A lot of it has to do with things that are out of your control. And I just have to give credit for kismet, or whatever it is that you know allowed me to keep on selling books. So anyway, thank you for Andrew and Hank and the Fabulous magazine. And I don't want to take up much more time, but it's great to be here tonight.
And congratulations. And I want you all to know that it's only the people who work hard who talk about luck. And so congratulations on your continuing wonderful achievements. It's quite fantastic. And we can't wait to see the pig movie. So the co-winner of tonight's Lifetime Achievement Award is Walter Mosley. Walter Mosley. The last time I saw Walter Mosley was here in Boston at a convention, and he was such a rock star, brilliant and hilarious, and such a good teacher. And you know that droll expression that he gets when he's looking out at the world? I always wished I could ask him what was going on in that brilliant brain. But Walter Mosley is one of the most versatile and admired writers in America. Quickly, let me just tell you, he's the author of more than 60 critically acclaimed books that cover a wide range of ideas, genres, and forms, including fiction, literary, mystery, and science fiction, political monographs, writing guides, a memoir in paintings, and a young adult novel called 47. His work has been translated into 25 languages. He has introduced an indelible cast of characters into the American canon, starting with his first novel, Devil in a Blue Dress, which brought Easy Rawlins, his private detective in post-war Los Angeles, and his friends Jackson Blue and Raymond Mouse Alexander into readers' lives. From a forthcoming collection of his short stories, The Awkward Black Man, to his daring novel, John Woman, which explored deconstructionist history, and his standalone crime novel, Down the River and Unto the Sea, which won an Edgar Award for Best Novel. The rich storylines that Mosley has created deepen the understanding and appreciation of Black life in the United States. Concerned by lack of diversity in all levels of publishing, Mosley established the Publishing Certificate Program with the City University of New York to bring together book professionals and students hailing from a wide range of racial, ethnic, and economic communities for courses, internships, and job opportunities. Born and raised in Los Angeles, Mosley now lives in Brooklyn and Los Angeles, and he joins us here tonight.
Thank you, Hank. That was really kind of wonderful. Thanks a lot. I mean, it's funny, you know, because you forget things about yourself when you get old, like me and Tess, you know, so, or maybe just me. Yeah, listen, I'm so happy about this. I'm so, you know, I'm honored, you know, just to, you know, to have, you know, people reading, you know, things that I write. I mean, that always, you know, any other art, you know, if you're like a painter or a musician or something like that, it's kind of easy to, you know, appreciate the work. But writing books is, you know, you have to spend a lot of time reading them, and I'm very happy that the critics have, and that they like me and like my history. And I wanted to say, I think especially I'm really happy about the Strand magazine because it's so eclectic. You know, really often people of color in America, when things are eclectic, that somehow is a reason that we're not involved in things. We're not a part of things. You say, well, listen, we all got together and we made a decision together, and our decision, you know, matters. But you know, when you're truly looking at the breadth of an art form or a social movement or you know, types of personalities, you include everybody and everything, and I really do feel that the Strand magazine has done that. So it makes me, you know, even more happy to be here and to be able to say thank you so much.
So congratulations to our Lifetime Achievement winners, two really stellar presences in the writing world. And we have learned, all of us have learned so much from Tess and Walter. So thank you and congratulations. The Strand Publisher of the Year Award is next. And the Publisher of the Year Award recognizes publishers who are not only finding new talented authors, but those publishers who give the kind of support that new authors need to establish themselves. The award also recognizes publishers who are navigating changes in the industry with a measured, realistic approach to what the future of book publishing will entail, which means embracing what the digital age has to offer and understanding the importance of and continuing to support print, because despite some predictions, the Strand knows print is here to stay. Tonight, we honor and recognize Bronwyn Ruska. And I'll tell you quickly about Bronwyn. Yay, the applause is already starting. Right, all right, well, drink that in. Before becoming publisher of Soho Press, Bronwyn Ruska worked as a journalist and screenwriter for 20 years. Her articles have appeared in the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, More Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, Cosmopolitan, The Village Voice, and San Francisco Chronicle. She sold an original screenplay and original television pilots. When Bronwyn took the reins at Soho, she hoped to bring something new to the table. Unfortunately, as she'll tell you, there was a major obstacle in her way. The publishing industry in general, some said, was falling apart. Major book retailers were closing their doors, and people still weren't sure if there was a future in ebooks. That was not a good time to be in her position. But that's why we honor her tonight. Bronwyn, with intelligence and knowledge and courage and passion and sacrifice, kept Soho Press alive. And tonight we applaud her and cheer her for all she's done and continues to do. Bronwyn Ruska.
Andrew, thank you so much for this huge honor. I mean, you do. I'm in awe of you and what you've done with Strand Magazine, and to have this honor and recognition is kind of mind-blowing. So I really, really appreciate it. When Hank, when you were talking about when I started, I had totally forgotten that tidbit, which is that I came into publishing for the first time ever, having not really no idea what a publisher did. In 2008, it was pretty much the worst time that one could start in publishing. But one good thing about it was that everyone who'd been in publishing for 20 years were very nervous about this ebook thing and thinking, gosh, what are we going to do? This is terrible. It's, like you said, it's the end of print. But actually, I didn't have any of that. I just thought, okay, here's a new format. Let's see what we can do. And that is a pretty interesting way to think about it, about how I did start in this. As most of you know, my mother, Laura Ruska, started Soho in the mid-'80s with Yuri Urevics. And Yuri had gone off to have a career as an author by the time I joined my mother in 2008. I had not wanted to be in publishing. I had a whole different career set out for myself. But when someone says, would you like to learn how to do this and take this company over? And it's an incredibly amazing company with all the cred, it's all sort of built in. You have to say, yes, thank you. I would like to do that. So I took over Soho when my mother passed away in 2000. It was much earlier than I had thought or hoped. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what the hell am I going to do? I still don't know enough to do this. And then I remembered what she'd built and the street cred she had. And I just thought, just don't fuck it up. Okay. And if I was one of those people who wrote little inspirational Post-it notes and on top of my computer, it would be, don't fuck it up. So, okay, I've got a good template here. I've got a mantra. And I also knew enough to know that I was not the person to take over the Soho crime list as the editor, because I hadn't read enough crime at that point. I didn't have the background and, see Post-it note. So enter Juliet Grames, who you all know and love, and for 10 years now, and she took over editing the crime list. She inherited a bunch of authors, and then together we tried to bring in authors that reflected, the kinds of books and kinds of authors that we were interested in. And it's really hard with a press of our size, number of books, and sort of highly curated, not to see the fingerprints on the books in that list. So those books reflect the people behind the scenes at Soho who have really just tried to find new voices and interesting communities and cultures to explore. The Soho mandate going forward, going from the beginning, was originally international crime fiction with a really immersive sense of place. And we do adhere to that, but we don't necessarily go that far afield. We have a lot of really fascinating books from authors set domestically. The Stephen Mac Jones, August Snow series set in Mexican town in Detroit, or Meddy Harrison's The Bishop's Wife series set in Mormon, Utah. Those are interesting places and interesting cultures that a lot of us don't know about. So it's just been really, really fun to shape the direction of this imprint. And, this award is very kindly being given to me, but Soho, I am not Soho. Soho is a team of really fantastic people who just care about the books and believe in the books that we publish, and sort of work tirelessly and creatively and have really big brains and are passionate book people. So this award is for all of them, all of the people at Soho who have really made this cool life possible. And also, of course, to our amazing, talented authors, because without your books, we wouldn't be Soho Crime. We wouldn't exist. And so thank you for entrusting us, Soho Crime authors, with your book babies, bringing them out into the world. And anyway, thank you. I host all of you in person next year when we do this in real life.
Sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
And Bronwyn, I know you haven't been reading the comments because you've been talking, but I want you to know that Juliet says, "My great privilege," to you. And Cara Black, one of your authors, says, "Laura would be so proud." So we toast to both of those.
Thank you.
And congratulations. And so for best debut novel, drum roll,
Dun, 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 dun.
the award goes to Angie Kim for Miracle Creek.
Oh, thank you guys. Yay. And I'm so sorry about this setup that I have. It was totally unexpected. Our family trip went a little longer than expected, and we're driving around somewhere in New York State trying desperately to get home. But thank you so much. This is such an honor, and I'm so happy to see everyone's faces and all of you who've been so supportive, and all of the other debut authors that I've loved getting to know this year. Thank you so much. This is an amazing, amazing honor. And I also have to say Tess Gerritsen in particular.
Oh.
Okay, I can finish that sentence. I totally can finish that sentence. Oh, here she will come. Are you back, Ange?
Okay, am I back? I don't know. Can you guys hear me again?
Tess Gerritsen, you left off at Tess Gerritsen
sorry.
in particular.
No, I was going to say, no, I love that. I remember, I'm such a huge fan, of course, of her work, but I was so inspired by the fact that she was a physician, and, her being Asian American, like all of those things sort of combined to inspire me to say, hey, maybe I can do this. I can go from being a lawyer to doing something else. So thank you so much for that in particular, Tess. I really I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations, it's great. And it does make safe travels, Angie, and family.
Thank you.
Have a great day dinner on the way home. It does make you realize, when you look at this sort of checkerboard of people, how many connections there are, and how much our lives intersect, and what difference we have all made to each other. It's we don't want to do it this way, but it's kind of a cool way of getting to see each other. Not that I want to do it this way again, but it is quite inspirational, actually. So congratulations, Angie.
Thank you.
And we'll go on now to the Best Novel nominees. The Strand Best Novel nominees are Heaven, My Home by Attica Locke from Mulholland Books. In this captivating crime novel, says People magazine, Texas Ranger Darren Matthews is on the hunt for a missing child, but it's the boy's family of white supremacists who are his real target. The Lost Man by Jane Harper from Flatiron Books. Two brothers meet in the remote Australian outback when the third brother is found dead in this stunning standalone novel from Jane Harper. Lady in the Lake by Laura Lippman from William Morrow. This novel, set in 1960s Baltimore, combines modern psychological insights with elements of classic noir, starring a middle-aged housewife turned aspiring reporter who pursues the murder of a forgotten young woman. The Sentence is Death by Anthony Horowitz from Harper. Death, deception, and a detective with quite a lot to hide stalk the pages of Anthony Horowitz's murder mystery, the second in the best-selling series starring private investigator Daniel Hawthorne. Blue Sky by Kate Atkinson from Little Brown and Company. Iconoclastic detective Jackson Brody returns in a triumphant new novel about secrets, sex, and lies. The Border by Dawn Winslow from William Morrow. This explosive, highly anticipated conclusion to the epic Cartel trilogy from the New York Times bestselling author of The Force. And the Strand Critics Award for Best Novel goes to Anthony Horowitz for The Sentence is Death. So Anthony is in Athens tonight, where I think it's 2 a.m. or something like that. So accepting is the fabulous Sarah Nelson.
Well, thank you very much for this. I was planning to come tonight anyway, and just found out fairly recently that Anthony was up for an award. So he is in Greece. I don't feel sorry for him. But he asked me to just read just a few words. He's going to be thrilled and surprised to hear this. I've been asked to make a statement ahead of the awards ceremony next Friday and must say in all honesty that given the outstanding quality of my fellow authors, I do not believe for a minute that I can win. If I am proven wrong, I will be deeply grateful to Strand Magazine, greatly honored, and will probably take to my bed in shock. So I, on behalf of Anthony and on behalf of HarperCollins and Jonathan Burnham, publisher, I thank you for this wonderful award. It's a wonderful series. I've sort of come into it in kind of in the middle, having joined HarperCollins just a few years ago, and I'm thrilled to be involved with Harper and with Anthony, and I thank you all for the award.
Congratulations. That's great. So hope you had a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us in tonight's celebration. It's wonderful to see you, even if bizarrely long distance. I hope next year we can celebrate together in New York with real champagne and real hugs. So stay safe, everyone, and congratulations to all the winners and all the nominees, and to all of you who make this world, our writing community, so wonderfully successful and inspirational. And thank you, Andrew, for including me tonight. And I'll turn it back over to you for the last word, as always.
Thanks, Hank, for doing a wonderful job. And until next year, where we'll all be together and, we can, at the Society of Illustrators in New York. And hopefully nobody will spill wine on me then. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. And thank you again for coming, and be safe.
Good night.
Good night.